scene stealers. Yeah.
I've heard of it actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, excellent. We were at Sundance this year, and one of my favorite, actually my favorite movie at Sundance this year was a British documentary called The Moo Man, which is about cow farming or dairy farming, I should say.
Okay.
In like southern London, like southeast London. So
Okay.
it was really, really interesting, really touching documentary. So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. I don't know it, but I'll look out for it. The Moo Man.
The Moo Man, yeah. It's doing the festival run, I think, right now,
right.
too. So, I mean, yeah, if you're running around and you see a screen of it.
Is it on here?
No, they're not playing here in Seattle, unfortunately. Okay. I got a chance to interview the filmmakers and told them you should get out to Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Get out here. But I think they had other festival plans. So,
Right.
yeah. Let me just start by asking you, how did you come across Jump? It's a play, as I understand it.
Yeah, it's originally a play written by a girl called Lisa McGee, who's from the city that the play is set.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I don't know if the play mentions the city that we ended up setting it in, but it's from her city,
mm-hmm.
you know. And the producer read the play 8 years ago,
mm-hmm.
and thought it might make a good film.
Mm-hmm.
And I read it about 5 years ago. He'd had a little bit of work done on a script put together.
Mm-hmm.
Read that, and I just thought it had potential. And what really kind of I found interesting about the project was it was set in Northern Ireland, but it didn't concern itself with the Troubles, you know, at all. And I thought it was about time there were films made like that, because the Troubles have finished now more than 20 years, and even when the Troubles were going on, people led normal lives there. But the thing is, the view of the world on Northern Ireland is just a bomb-torn wasteland, and it's far from that, and it was never that. I mean, you know, there's obviously been some terrible atrocities that have happened there, but you know, there is normal life goes on there as well.
You know, it's funny because covering the festival circuit here the last couple of years, I think there's been a lot of pushback from places like South America and African nations that are trying to make their own films right now, just, you know, about teenagers falling in love and things like that. Just, you know, it's not all drug running in South America, and it's not all, you know, just genocide in Africa and things like that. So I think there is a real yearning for that sort of voice.
Yeah, I think also, you know, it's kind of about time, particularly with like Derry is a city that, you know, for anybody who knows Derry, the first thing that comes to mind when you say the word Derry, or as people of different persuasions say Londonderry, is they immediately think about Bloody Sunday. And I think it's kind of unfair that the city is kind of like has this shackle of Bloody Sunday around its neck, you know. That was a terrible thing that happened, you know. 13 people were shot dead on a civil rights march by the police, the army. And there's been a number of films made about it, and there's been a number of films made about the Troubles, very, very good films. But I just think, you know, anytime I go to Derry, you know, increasingly I don't think about the Troubles. I don't think about that anymore. So I think it was time to have a film that did the same. And there's two particular shots in the film. There's one shot that is used twice. And you have a car going past the gable end of the house, the end of the house, which says, "You are now entering Free Derry." And that's a very, very symbolic part of the peace movement around the time of the Troubles. And it's still standing there. But our characters are flying by in a car, looking for the Heart of Saturday Night, or whatever it might be, you know. It's not that they're ignoring it, it's just that they've moved on.
Yeah, exactly. They're flying past it.
Exactly.
It's not part of their reality.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. No, that's interesting. That's really interesting. How long of a shoot was this? And what kind of budget did you have? I mean, what were you working with as far as time and money?
It was 24 nights. The entire film is a night film. The entire film had to be shot from 7 o'clock in the evening till 7 o'clock in the morning, which always makes it twice the price, actually. It was not enough time to make the film by any stretch of the imagination. 24 nights is, you know, I mean, your whole body clock changes, your whole outlook on life. You know, you actually don't think the same as if you're shooting during the day. And so maybe it affects the filmmaking. I don't know, but it was very, very hard. And we also had, obviously, you know, Northern Ireland, the weather at that time of the year had the potential to be, you know, unfilmable weather, you know, but we got lucky, and we didn't have terrible weather. It was very cold. It was like -6
Wow.
Which is probably nothing actually. Well, I don't know what kind of temperatures you get here in
That'd
Seattle.
be pretty close here. I mean, that's pretty chilly.
You're standing out on a bridge at
Yeah.
-6 trying to act in flimsy clothes would not be nice. You know, it's fine if you're the director and you've got a big jacket on, but if you're an actor, look, they turned to me a number of times and said, I actually can't speak anymore. My mouth is closing up. Can we warm up?
Wow.
So we had to stop and warm up with some tea and stuff like that. You know?
Wow.
So and so there was not enough money to make the film, and we also had like an extended editing period. We cut the film over 19 weeks.
Oh wow!
It's almost double what you get to show a film.
Yeah.
But it's quite a complex story, and there's 3 different storylines and time jumps, and so it just needed a lot of work, a lot of screen testing, then more work, then more screen testing. Then we shot a little extra material, and then we finished it.
Okay.
It just took a while.
Yeah, and that was actually one of my questions I was going to say, because it is a night film. I think there's maybe one scene.
At the very beginning, there's
with your main character and her dad in the driveway. Is that maybe? Gosh, is that your own day?
That was her. That and her walking along, and Maria walking along the street. Maria walking along the street is.
After she gets off work.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, she was a bird. Yeah. I think that's it. And we did those. On the what they call on the blink. Just as it was going from day to night. So, that was it. Really, that's it. Everything else is night. And in Northern Ireland, it gets dark at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Jeez.
In the wintertime.
Yeah.
And
because you're so far north up there. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't thought of that. That'd be tough.
So we had to shoot before the clock went back. Before they changed the hour.
Yeah.
We had to make sure we'd shot, because otherwise we're going to lose even more time.
That was actually going to be another one of my questions. As far as how you shot it, did you shoot sequentially as far as through the script, or did like your actors' availability and sort of scheduling make you kind of chop it up and film it when you had the people?
It was also about availability of locations as well on certain days and stuff. You try and kind of schedule the thing as much as possible in sequence, but it always gets thrown up in the air, and you always have to just basically, it's mainly for the actors, so as they can feel like they're going on a journey, the same journey. But you've just got to roll with it like the rest of us, and that's what happens. So with the best will in the world, we went out trying to do it in sequence, but it never works out that way.
And I just thought, particularly with this movie, because of how it jumps around and you cover different scenes from different angles.
Yes.
It'd be kind of tough for an actor to be like, okay, now the audience is seeing it this way, you have to kind of do it this way. So that
I never explained that to them at all. I never spoke to them about that, because that's really not their concern.
Yeah. Okay.
Their job is to come on, know their lines, and bring as much humanity and truth to the part as they can. They really, I can't really expect them to think like about how the film's cut together and how I'm going to be here, how I'm going to be there, because otherwise it'll actually get in the way of their performance. They're just going to be thinking technically about it, and I don't want them to think. I just want them to actually just come from an emotional place with the thing. So I didn't talk to them about it at all. I just said, look, just trust me. We're doing this thing now, and they did.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that, but that makes sense.
Makes sense. They just have to trust you that you're going to cut it together right.
Yeah.
And actually, they were confused making the film. They were kind of like, okay, Kieron, I'll just do this now. I don't really know why, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then when they saw the film, now I understand everything. I did try and explain to them at the time, but I said, I don't want you to clog your brain up with this stuff. I just want you to, just trust me and just be in the moment.
No, that's interesting. Since I was a pretty big Game of Thrones fan myself, I was excited to see Richard Dormer in the film. Was this something he was filming sort of at the same time as Game of Thrones? Because I know they're shooting in Ireland as well.
Yeah, they do shoot in Belfast. Game of Thrones shoots in Belfast. We were shooting in Belfast. No, he hadn't done Game of Thrones at the time. He had done a film called Good Vibrations. And he is somebody who's got a bit of profile in Northern Ireland as an actor, but he hadn't been selected for Game of Thrones. So it just happened directly after Jump, actually. No, I'm not saying they saw Jump.
No. Yeah.
It just happened directly afterwards.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, he's become a household name now.
One of the things he's brilliant in the film, I think he has, his character, I think, brings a lot of the weight and sort of consequence early on. It brings the audience kind of into the seriousness of what's going on. So I thought he did a wonderful job.
He did. He's a very strong actor, and he's really just come into his own now. Like he's becoming, very sought after now. He's in everything in Ireland now.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, he's a writer as well. He writes films and plays, and for a long time he struggled, and then it just kind of clicked.
Wow.
He got to a certain age, and it just kind of took off.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's funny because there's another film at SIFF right now. It's called Papadopoulos and Sons, and Stan Sparapian is in it.
Yes.
It's like this caring, loving father, which
Yes.
is just a.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I saw the film last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And the filmmaker. Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's a sweet film.
Yeah.
But Stephen Delane is great in it, isn't he?
Yeah. No, it was wonderful to see him. Because I think part of his character in Game of Thrones is that he never smiled.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
He's such a warm.
And he
father.
danced at the end of Papadopoulos and so on. A Greek dance.
Yeah, but it's funny to see these characters pop up, in these films now, and I'm sure they were there in the films before, but it's.
But it just, Game of Thrones has revolutionised Northern Ireland in terms of location as well. Like, everybody knows. Look at I Was Given by Woman Downstairs.
Oh.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah. She works for HBO. So
oh, okay. Who are some of your influences creatively? I felt a little bit of a Danny Boyle-esque in the beginning. Is it? Do you draw from sort of more UK filmmakers or?
Probably. Films that I love are Drugstore Cowboy, Gus Van Sant did. People who are kind of living slightly on the edge of the law. Basically, I'm interested in that kind of world, and I like young people getting into trouble. That's the kind of things that I'm interested in. I really like Danny Boyle. I think Danny Boyle's got, he's a masterful filmmaker, and always does something interesting. I always want to see what he's done next. One of my favourite filmmakers is he's dead now. He's a British filmmaker called Lindsay Anderson, and he directed If, the movie If, which is set in a like a posh English school, and students decide to rebel against the teachers, the people who run the school. And the last scene is they're on top of a roof with a machine gun mowing down all the teachers.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually, I think, inspired. The film is inspired by Zero de Conduite, which is a French film that Jean Vigo directed, and which is fabulous, another fabulous film. So I like If, and he also did another film called Oh Lucky Man. They're both with Malcolm McDowell. Okay. Proper what else? There's a myriad of influences, but I guess those two, Danny Boyle and Gus Van Sant, with that film.
Excellent. No, that's good. It sounds like that movie If is definitely in your sort of vein of kids getting into trouble.
Yeah. Also, people talked about jump being quite like Go, the movie Go with Doug Liman, and I would agree with them there. I think there's definitely aspects of that film.
Sure. What's on the horizon for you in the film? Are you guys headed to any other festivals, or do you have any deals lined up for?
It's just been sold to an American distribution company. So I don't know what their plan is. Whether it's going to be, if it's going to get a theatrical release, it would be a small theatrical release. It would be like 2 to 4 cities, and then it'll come out on VOD and DVD probably at the same time. But it's still great, because so many films from Britain and Ireland just kind of end up on the shelf.
Sure.
It's been released in Ireland already, on the island of Ireland. We're still waiting to hear about what is going to happen in Britain. And it's been sold to a few other territories, but it's still doing the festival circuit, actually. It played in Dallas before this, at Dallas International Film Festival. I did Toronto, of course.
Yeah.
Palm Springs.
Yeah.
It was in Moscow. I went to Moscow.
Oh, that's
it was quite something, actually. Quite something. And it's played in places like Georgia, Tbilisi in Georgia, in Germany, and little festivals in Ireland and stuff. So it's travelled quite a bit, actually.
Oh, it just must have been a great experience, though. Getting all the different feedback. No, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So one more question, just for fun.
Yeah.
Let's say Jump's a surprise hit, makes $100 million worldwide. Hollywood comes knocking and they say, we want to give you a $150 million budget. Any cast you want. What's your dream project? What would you do if you had your choice of anything out there?
That's a tough question.
The world's your oyster kind of situation.
I'm afraid I'm going to make the wrong choice now. I'm immediately make the wrong choice because I've been put on the spot. okay, I'm just going to pick a few names out of the top of my head. Right, I'd like Scott Rudin to produce the film. I'd like Jay Cox to write to do the screenplay, or Steve Zalian, and actors who I like to work with. I like to work with Michael Fassbender, and Jennifer Lawrence, and a bag of money and a gun.
No ambitions to maybe tackle the next Bond if you have your choice?
James Bond. Well, I was very disappointed with the last one, actually.
Were you?
Yeah, I was very disappointed. Yeah, I just thought... the reason I was so disappointed was because, first of all, it was 2.5 hours long, so I was expecting that the last half hour was going to be absolutely mind-blowing, right? Because there had been some beautiful moments up until that point. And then we ended up in a field in Scotland, and Baddy got stabbed in the back with a knife. Normally you're at 60,000 feet and somebody's sucked out of an airplane, or sent to the moon or something like that, or blown up. But no, it was just Javier Bardem was stabbed in the back, and I just felt it was disappointing. I'd love to do a James Bond film. That would be just fantastic. But I think the chances of that are slim to none.
Well, like I said, it's
a fantasy.